Hello, sports fans, and welcome to the Scott Sports 101 NFL Football Sunday, Week 6. We've got a lot to talk about right now. The Browns are trailing right now as the Arizona Cardinals have scored the first touchdown of the game, and it's 7-0 Arizona, but the Browns have the ball, 2nd and 15 at the Cleveland 45 with 6:17 to go in the first quarter. We're going to talk about today's game. I'll give my thoughts about what I feel is going to go down and what we need to do. And I'll do picks of the week. I've got the final. We're going to call this an early games, post game show, late games, pre-game, first quarter show, we'll call it. We're going to get to all of that. We'll get the picks of the week. I'll break down the game and everything. We'll get to all of it. But first, here is today's Scott Sports 101 Week 6 trivia question. It's a Browns trivia question. Jamal Lewis, the Browns' leading rusher in 2007, rushed for how many yards? And I will have the answer later in the podcast. It's Week 6 of the NFL, and the Browns are taking on the Arizona Cardinals at First Energy Stadium right now. And as I said, it's 7-0 Arizona. Hopefully the Browns can score and tie it up because they've got to jump on Kyler Murray very early in this game. The Browns are coming off a heartbreaking 47-42 loss to the LA Chargers at SoFi Stadium last week in Inglewood, California. The Browns are looking to bounce back from that loss last week and look to go to 4-2 with a win over the Arizona Cardinals. And I feel this game today between the Browns and Cardinals is a very much a must win for the Browns today, because I feel they need to go to 4-2. If they go to 3-3, that's going to put it in a tentative tough spot in the AFC North. But we'll see what happens, and hopefully the Browns can get the win in this game today. The Browns do have a chance to win today's game, but they'll have to. Do that, the Browns will have to score early in this game and jump on Cardinals quarterback Kyler Murray very early. They will have to put big time pressure on the Cardinals defense, because the Cardinals defense has been red hot in the past 5 games, no doubt. Now, as you know, the Browns will be without star running back Nick Chubb today. And I do believe that Kareem Hunt is going to be starting in Chubb's absence. Linebacker Malcolm Smith is out with a abdomen injury, and he will not play today. There were players listed as questionable for today's game. And here I have them all. Jedrick Wills Jr. with an offensive tackle has an ankle injury. J.C. Treader, knee injury. Sahon Tataki, linebacker, and J.C. is the center. J.C. Treader, I forgot to mention that. Linebacker is Sahon Tahaki, hamstring injury. Jadvon Clowney, who's the edge rusher, has elbow/knee injury. And Jack Conklin, offensive tackle, knee injury. Myles Garrett, edge rusher, knee and ankle, but I think he will be playing today, Myles Garrett. So hopefully, and the Browns had a turnover on downs at 4th and 3. Mayfield got sacked at the Arizona 22 for -9 yards by James Hicks, I believe it was. And the Cardinals have the ball now, and that is not allowed. They really need to score in this game, so they've got to have either an interception for touchdown or try to get the Cardinals to go 3 and out. AJ Green, cornerback, he has a shoulder and knee injury. Kareem Hunt, who will start in Nick Chubb's spot today, has a wrist/knee injury. Todd McKinley, who's an edge rusher, ankle and knee injury. Greg Newsome II, who's also a cornerback, also has a calf injury. And Denzel Ward, who was a cornerback as well, has a neck injury. Once again, Cleveland has an injury list that's incredibly long, but the good news is Greg Newsome could return and says he's feeling good after missing 2 weeks. As for Jarvis Landry, he won't be back against Arizona, but there is a high probability that he will be on the field for Week 7 against Denver. The Browns say they are ready for this game against the Cardinals today. The Browns are hoping to come out and play hard and really dominate this game, the whole game, and come away with the win and hand the only unbeaten team left in the NFL their first loss of the season. And the Browns know what they have to do, so guys, you better get on the stick and you better get on it quick. Meanwhile, the Arizona Cardinals are coming off a 17-10 win over the San Francisco 49ers last week at Levi's Stadium in San Francisco, California. The Cardinals are 5-0 in the season and will look to remain unbeaten as they will look to go to 6-0 with a win over the Cleveland Browns today at First Energy Stadium. But the Cardinals will be without head coach Cliff Kingsbury. He tested positive for COVID-19. He, along with 3 other people, quarterbacks coach Cam Turner and defensive lineman Zach Allen, will also miss today's game against the Browns in Cleveland at First Energy Stadium. Arizona linebacker Chandler Jones also landed on the reserve /COVID-19 list on Tuesday, so he'll also miss today's game. And Kingsbury said at the time that Jones was symptomatic. Kingsbury said last month that after having one of the lowest vaccination rates in the league during training camp, the entire Cardinals roster was fully vaccinated. Defensive coordinator Vance Joseph and special teams coordinator Jeff Rogers will take over for Kingsbury in his absence today. Kingsbury is in his 3rd season in the NFL with the Cardinals, and he has compiled an 18-18-1 record, overall record. The Cardinals are the NFL's last remaining unbeaten team after starting the season 5-0. And they will look to remain unbeaten today with the win over the Browns. But I do feel the Browns can get the win in this game, and I'm going to say the Browns 30 and the Arizona Cardinals 27. We will get to the picks of the week in just a sec. And there's 2:45 left to go in the first quarter. And it's 2nd and 10 at the Arizona 45. The Cardinals still have the ball, 7-0 Arizona. Now 2:11 to go left in the first quarter. And right now it's time to reveal the answer to today's Scott Sports 101 NFL Football Sunday Week 6 trivia question. Jamal Lewis, the Browns' leading rusher in 2007, rushed for how many yards? And if you said 1,304, you are correct. This was his 4th highest rushing total for a year since he has been in the NFL in 2000. And that was his 4th highest in his career. And I will have another trivia question on my next podcast, so stay tuned for that. Now we're going to get to the picks of the week. There's 2 away left to go in the first quarter. 7-0 Cardinals. Arizona still with the ball. 2nd and 10 at the Cleveland 47. First of all, we're going to start with the Minnesota Carolina game. It's tied at 28 and with 1 second left in the fourth quarter, so it does look like the Carolina Panthers and the Minnesota Vikings are going to go to overtime. That's what it's looking like. And so that's going to be, we'll have a final for that game when it becomes available after overtime or in overtime. First of all, we're going to recap the game from Thursday night. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers beat the Philadelphia Eagles 28-22. And Philadelphia looked sloppy in this one, but Tampa Bay looked really good. But Tampa Bay just had this game in hand from the get-go, and Philadelphia tried to make a comeback, but they could not do it. So, and Tom Brady and Antonio Brown and Leonard Ferrante got the game balls for that one. This morning at 9:30 in London, England, at Northumberland Stadium, the Jacksonville Jaguars get their first win of the season, and the Miami Dolphins fall to 1-5. But the Jacksonville Jaguars, they get their first win of the season. They go to 1-5 as they beat the Miami Dolphins 23-20 at Northumberland Stadium in Northumberland Project Stadium in London, England. And boy, this was just one of those games where the Dolphins had a chance and they just couldn't get over that hurdle. So, and this was was one of those games, and so I gotta give the game balls. Well, I gotta give credit to where credit is due to the Jaguars. Trevor Lawrence, 319 yards, 1 touchdown, and 25 of 41 carries and attempts. I think it was I'm having a little technical problem with my screen here. I'm trying to, but hold on. I think I'm getting it back here. James Robinson, 17 attempts, 73 yard, one touchdown, and and Marvin Jones, you get one. He gets a game ball today. Seven receptions, 100 yards, and 1 touchdown. I mean, and Tago Vailoa had a good game, but Jacksonville's Trevor Lawrence was great. So the Dolphins will look to bounce back next week, hopefully, in week 7. The Baltimore Ravens beat the just all over the LA Chargers 34-6 today at M&T Bank Stadium in Baltimore, Maryland. And boy, the Ravens just had this game in hand from right from the start, and the Chargers just never stood a chance. And I think they only had they only had 1 touchdown in this game today. No field goals whatsoever. Yeah, they only had 1 touchdown, and the field goal was no good, and it was all Ravens today in this game. There's no doubt about it. And once again, I got to give game balls for this one. But first, we're going to take a break, and I'm going to have to upload this first part. So I will be back with part 2 of this podcast right after this. Stay with me.